I show up to this thing and I got what I have in my bag, and my fitters ask me like, "So, well, how did you land on this thing there, Sonny boy?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, it's something I've been staring at for 3 years, and I just really wanted
Wait,
one." And he's like, "Oh, it's terrible for you, so way to go."
wait, hold on. Can I gotta say something real quick because it's on what you're saying. So I'm not gonna say who because you can think of it, but so we walk in there and you bring your bag in with what was in your bag and stuff, and uh right away somebody from Titleist goes, "That's not what we sent him."
That was
And I was just dying because I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna go do this stuff later, and they're gonna be like, so Johnny, we told you to do this, and you did this. Want to talk to us about that?
okay. Episode 311 of the Fully Equipped podcast. Me and just the absolute content stud, Jake Morrow.
Ah, love it.
How are
I'll
you,
take it.
pal?
Good. I'm still reeling from last week. I got to be honest with you. Like, when you this can sound so bad, but what an opener. When you go to like pet a puppy at the shelter who's been abused, and they kind of like do one of these.
Yeah.
I tried to grab a golf club today, and my hands were like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that." Yeah, that was
You're
like the
over it.
reaction of yeah. So
Well,
whatever.
I'm going to start with this. Like, we'll get into the week here. We can't talk about specifics, just because of the embargoes and stuff. We'll paint the corners on it so you guys can kind of get a sense of what it was like last week. And, um,
Yeah,
but I got to see you work firsthand, Jake, and I got to say, man, I was really impressed. What a machine! Like, you're just an absolute content machine. And I was talking to my dad, because he kind of wanted to know how everything went. And I'm like, I can't even say remind me of myself, because I didn't produce content like you did. I always had a team with me. Like, you've done it by yourself for so long. It's very impressive. Like, it's really fun to watch, and also to see how much passion you have for it and how excited you get. And that was the biggest kick for me, was just watching you just kind of run as fast as you could. Like, if anything I took away, I'm like, yeah, this is the guy. Like, I loved having him there, and he was so much fun to watch. And so anyway, let's talk about your experience first before we get into both of our experiences. Like, so,
yeah,
first run with the OEMs, getting into some places. I think you'd been to every place at some point in some fashion, but never
yeah.
like full stop. You have full control over the place. So, like, walk us through that. Like, what was that like?
I mean, phenomenal. First off,
Right.
yeah, it's funny how easy it is to develop some of those relationships and like get close to those guys, and then the amount of trust that they give you to kind of go utilize their facilities for the day with like very little oversight, like it's a cool feeling to have that much like mutual respect basically with all of them. I mean, like TaylorMade, they knocked it out of the park with our setup. We couldn't have asked for a better setup. Obviously going easy PC for you and I is super easy, because that's kind of where you and I were like, that's home base for us in Carlsbad basically. And then, TPI is TPI. Can't say enough about how amazing that place is. And then that was the first time I had been to the back range of Encinitas with Cobra. Usually I just go to
It's
HQ
fun.
and I do stuff in the Bay. That place is awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah, like
Yeah, it's
that's
fun.
a really cool setup. And one of my favorite fitters is now over at Cobra. That was cool. He was at a different OEM, but he's at Cobra now. He's about a foot and a half taller than I am, but he's a great dude. Yeah, it was fun. It's crazy still, like, just quick shout out, and you and I have been saying this as many times as we can, but like our production people, dude, are just it's so nice too, because I kept telling like Tiffany, for example, I was like, yeah, just it's crazy because if when I did that last year, I did everything that they were doing plus what I was doing by myself.
Right.
And I was like,
Right.
you guys have, like, I will do whatever you want me to do because you have no idea how thankful I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I don't have to do. I was like, so if you tell me to do something or you want me to like hold you up for something, I don't care. Like, you tell me what to do and we're going to do it. And it was just really cool because it was fun to be like, to help on that side of the conversation. Because there were like some moments where they were like, hey, like, how would you kind of like set this up or do this? And so it was nice to collaborate with them, but they are just absolute rock stars. Not to mention, like, Sidaro's holding a 20-pound rig for 3 days in a row. Like it's just they're amazing. So it was the whole thing was really fun, and um, I was I think I was surprised at each stop. Actually, I think is a good way to say it. Like
Like
there was a
surprised
different
how?
reason to be surprised. Like TM, I think with the leaks and stuff that have come out, right? Like the big story is the head that Rory and Tommy were using, and some other guys have changed into the RSM. And I thought that was going to kind of like dominate their storyline next year, but and it's definitely a big part, but like it's really not. It's not as dominant in the storyline as I thought it was. Like there's a couple other really good nuggets in there. Um, Callaway's surprise was a performance thing that you and I saw that we can't really talk about, but like it was legit. um,
Right. Very,
and
very,
then
very, very Callaway. Like very what
yeah,
people expect of them. Like which is,
yeah. Uh,
you know, Ferraris and like, fast.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Cobra, right? Like every year, it seems like it happens on a cycle. You go in, you test Cobra stuff, you go, damn, this stuff's really, really good. And then it somehow just throughout the rest of the year, it can get a little lost in the sauce. The irony is, I'm in my bag. The majority of this year has been probably the least talked about Cobra product, including the fact that they're already not talked about a lot, which is the wedges. So I went into Cobra with like a different view because I was pumped on like the irons category, and then I had a lot of fun watching you hit the metal woods at Cobra because your brain was booming at
Uh,
like
yeah.
for reasons that I hadn't seen at some other ones. Like there was one club specifically that I was like you're really digging that, aren't you? And it was like, yeah, I don't know why, but it's really good. So it was fun, and that was the other thing too. Like being out there with you, that was fun. Like I had been wondering, if I'm being honest, like I had been wondering how that was going to go for a while.
Sure.
And the podcast has led us into like, and you and I, like we have a great relationship off camera. Um, so moving into camera, it was just fun. Like we just had a blast doing the stuff that we got to do together. So, um, I
Well,
you
yeah,
know I think it's
yeah.
gonna
I
be
mean,
cool.
I think I think like, and it's funny because even when I was at WRX and I was doing the video there, it was me on camera, right? And I was at Callaway, it was me, or it was a tour player, but essentially it was me driving this thing, I've been so excited to be able um, to not do that all the time because I can't I don't perceive to know everything that and and especially some of you young guys, like we were talking about Dom or Tej the other day, like
Tej, yeah.
yeah, I mean the amount of information that you guys gather, and it is I don't want to say it's a young man's game, but you guys are coming up with social media as your tools, right? You're coming up with going on to X and WRX and World of Wonder website and all these things, and the access to information that you guys have is 10x what we had, and where you're really fun to watch is your ability to take that information, make it palatable for the consumer, and I love that you are and this is where I have so much fun watching you, is you are so in the spirit of the consumer. Like, what is the consumer going to think about this? Where I'm a tour junkie, right? I like talking about tour players' bags. That's my niche. That's how I came up. Like, that's what I know the most about. But man, I got to tell you, it's so fun watching. You're 30, 32 now, 31. Is that how old are you now? Sorry.
30, yeah, 30, yeah,
30,
yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to age it, but
No, that's all right.
such a fun thing for me, at my age, to see somebody like yourself that's busted his ass independently to come up and then get a job like this, and then take it and be like, okay, this is a big microphone, so I'm gonna scream really loud, and I'm gonna give the people what I've been giving them over here. I'm gonna give them to them over here. That's where, like, and I told you this on the phone when we hired you. It was just like, you know, uh, you do things way better than I do. And I saw, and I, but I, and I love being able to say that and just being like, yeah, dude, like I can't do some of the stuff he does, and you can't do some of the stuff that I can do. But at the same time, like
Yeah.
together, it's like, it takes so
Oh, it's
much pressure
unstoppable. Yeah.
off of both of us. It's so nice. So, um, I have a couple more questions about you personally, just because I want to get just kind of into your heart and soul a little bit on all this stuff. So,
Sure.
What was it? What is it like now? And this isn't to be braggadocious for you. This is just kind of like, somebody that's worked hard, that's gotten the keys to the kingdom, so to speak.
Yeah.
What is it like for you now being able to go on a trip like that and being having the OEMs excited to be for you to be there, catering the experience to make sure that you get what you need. You have all day to do
Yeah.
what you got to do. Like, what's that like mentally? What's that like? Where before it was kind of like, okay, dude, you got like 90 minutes. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
like, like, like,
Yeah.
like,
Well, it was
walk me through that.
it was funny because like
It's so awesome.
we mentioned, yeah, it will never not be a little bit like pinch me to just walk into the kingdom and be able to do things, right? Or walk to
Yeah,
TPI
you
and like
shouldn't ever lose that. Yeah,
no, it'll never not be like, oh my god, I get to do this, right?
right.
Um, what's funny though is, and you caught on to it on like, I don't know, like Wednesday morning or something like that while we were out there. I was still like in my head, like I had 2 hours,
Right.
like while we were out there, I was like no, 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 we got to get this done. We got to move on to this thing. We got to
Yeah,
do this
yeah,
thing. We
yeah.
do this thing. Like there is no breaks. Keep hitting balls. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. Like blah blah blah. Whatever. I was like, get it. We got to. And then I was like, oh, like we have all day. Like
We were all
that's
day.
great. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, that was a big like turning point because it used to be, with the individual stuff or with Made for the Range, or even honestly when I was out there with a couple of the club fitting companies, it was a lot more limited, right? Because I think that what we have proposed, what we're doing, and what next year is going to look like for us with golf.com and fully equipped is it's such a more expansive strategy, and it's so much. I think it provides a ton of value to the OEMs that a launch piece that goes up on embargo and then nothing else is, kind of the norm, and they're like, okay, well, you get 90 minutes to do that, and that's gonna be plenty of time for you. Bye bye, right?
right.
Whereas we filmed a ton, right? Like we did a
Yeah,
bunch of stuff, and I'm super excited about what we did. It was fun to do the stuff with you, especially just because I think that in the in the age that we live in right now, the interactions, the quick like snippy reactions to each other, and then just some of the back and forth while we just organically tested some product. I think that stuff is actually going to, it might make our best social content, like,
right.
because
Yeah,
we're in such a personality driven world now, right? Where it's it's so much more about like connecting to people than it is connecting to product. And for us to have kind of the trust from the OEM side to be able to relay that through us is really, really cool. But
yeah,
it gives us the chance to like show it off, right? And show off, kind of how we are on camera and how we do things. And yeah, so it's fun. It's very, very different. Like I said, the biggest difference for me is just, I look around and I've got two camera people and a social guy shooting photos and shooting video. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, every time I looked at them, I was like, oh my God, if I had to do that by myself again. And I was like, I just don't know. That burnout would have
It-
happened probably this year.
yeah. I mean, and I respect it. I mean, I respect, like, I told you this also. Like, I've never had to do that. Like, I've always had a squad. Even at WRX, I had a team. I had my guy Rafe Wolfgang that shot and edited everything. So I had somebody to rely on where you didn't, and that's that's like I don't even know how to put it in words. It's like street cred. It's like, no, like this guy built his own platform off of his own sweat and tears. Like he
Yeah.
was cold calling people, and like I got so much respect for that. And because I kind of did that. I don't want to say that I did in the business, but in the film business, I very much did that for the first 10
Yeah.
years. So like, I understand what that's like. Um, okay, so people are gonna want to not gonna want us to hear us babble about our whatever. Like, let's get into the nitty
Yeah.
gritty here. So Monday we're at
Sure.
TaylorMade.
Yeah.
I love I really love the direction that they are going with the driver, just like
Mhm.
Callaway in the same breath. We'll get to
Yeah.
Callaway.
Yeah.
Very, very impressed with two of their drivers. Very impressed. And fairway woods are fairway woods, and you're going to hear that in our like literally for the fairway woods category. Like it
Yeah.
was like, dude, they're the greatest things ever. What else do you want us to say? They don't change much.
Yeah.
They rule the world. They are the alpha predator. Like it's thanks for
That was a
tuning
that was
into
a
Fully
funny
Equipped.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but they have and I don't think we could talk about this one yet, but they have another category that they are very excited about, and I was impressed with that part as well. Um,
Yep.
so if I was going to grade them now, like first looks for me, I would give them a hard A on the driver, like across the board. Um, and from what we hit, because we hit, you hit them all, and so did I. And I was like, there was two in there that I was
Mhm.
like, holy, I could play either one of these.
Yeah.
Um, and across the board, I think it's an A. There's your guy. There he is. Um, I give him a hard A. I was very impressed, and it's a thoughtful story. It's what people expect from them, and I loved how they launched it out on tour. It's like, let's get this in Tommy and Rory's hands right now,
Yeah.
and they've done that before. Not a lot, but they've done it before. They've teased it out for the Dubai tournament, so this isn't like a
Yep.
new
Yep.
concept. But the success that they had with it for both of their studs, besides Scotty, those are
Yeah.
the two premier players. Just they're going into 2026 like on a dead sprint. So, okay, talk to me a little bit about what you thought about what TaylorMade's doing.
Yeah. So I think TaylorMade is, in a way, they're kind of like, they figured out a way to take a breath, I think, and to go
That's a
back to
great way to put
being
it. Yeah.
TaylorMade, right? Like I think it was a matter of TaylorMade tried to be a little bit too, oh god, this is gonna sound bad. TaylorMade tried to be a little bit too Callaway, I think, for the last couple of years. Like they were trying to show people that they could push material, they could push tech, they could push uh a certain performance that maybe they hadn't gone after before. And I actually think they did a better job than a lot of people will give them credit. Like basically since the carbon phase, right? Basically since stealth, I think that they haven't gotten enough credit for the direction they were trying to go and the things that they were trying
Right.
to do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but QI4D, which, by the way, I like quite literally this morning realized that it's QI40, but it's QI4D. Like
Yeah.
that didn't hit my brain until this
Did it
morning.
hit
Just
ya?
FYI. No, like I was emphasizing like 4D, not 40. Like it was anyhow.
Right.
It felt stupid this morning, but whatever. I'll share that with people. Uh, but I think this is a tailor made lineup, and
Mm-hmm.
whenever the last time was that you as a consumer listening to this were happy with the tailor-made lineup, this will be a refresh of whatever that point was, I think, in your brains. Whether it's, a lot of people want to go back to Sim, a bunch of forum guys want to go back to M2, like whatever you want to do. I think that this lineup is a tailor-made lineup with a new, really fresh breath of kind of old school tailor-made thinking brought into 2026. Like I that's my
Right.
kind of sentiment for tailor-made, and I'm really happy they did it because the stuff it's great. It looks beautiful. First off, that's the other thing too. Is like that stuff. It looks
Yeah. The colorways are
phenomenal in
amazing. The
person.
colorways are
It's
amazing. Yeah.
so good. Um, but yeah, but everything's just a little bit more simplified. They kept all the tech, they kept all the performance, they kept all the tailor-madeness, but they breathed a little bit more tailor-made into their product, and I think people are going to be refreshed by it, I guess is the right
I
word.
think they'll be excited, and it's very segmented too. There's no gray areas. There's no like, well, is
No,
this
which
for
is
this person or this?
awesome.
But it's very specific. Like there's straight
Yeah,
parallel lines running across the whole line, which you and I said when we left. We're like, yeah, that's like when you're creating a
so good.
line.
Yeah,
It's almost like creating a it's like Yellowstone. Every series has its niche, and
yeah,
it's they all
yeah.
feed into the same machine, but ultimately they're very specific to that show. And I just got done watching episode season 5 finally after like two years. Uh, I won't go into that. It's what a show. So now we're gonna go to Callaway. I'm gonna say something quick on Callaway, and I'm gonna let you go. I have a because of my that was my family for 4 years. I have an emotional weird like connection to that whole thing, right? So like I go in there not necessarily excited to see what they did. It's like, okay, guys, like I really want you to give me a good story here. Give me something. And they did. I mean, they 100% did. I know a lot of the pictures are getting leaked out online and this and that, so people have seen the driver. But um, again, like TaylorMade, they're back to their roots. It's fuck all ball speed. Let's hit it as far as we possibly can hit it, and with no concessions. And I'll say this really quick too, Jake. I want to see if you agree. There's always like a North Star that the OEMs tend to chase. There's always like a company that's doing it really, really well in the fitting bays. It's kind of like Strixon irons, and I'm going to use
Yeah.
Ping drivers as the North Star for maybe the last 4 or 5 years because of the forgiveness and how straight those things went. And I
Yeah.
think, this is me speculating, and even working at Callaway, I didn't. Somebody didn't tell me this. It's just it was kind of what you surmise as you go. But what I was getting a sense is that Ping was making such a big influence on the market, especially in the fitting base, because they were so forgiving that I think people are
Hmm.
like, well, we're already fast. So like, let's try to make us as forgiving of a driver. And it started at Callaway with Rogue was the first time they
Yeah.
started delving in and going a little bit less emphasis on speed and more into like making the ball go straight.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job for a long time. And then I think after AI Smoke really leaned into that, and Elite really leaned into that about hitting it straight, where now it's like, okay, like we're all kind of in the ballpark of Ping as far as forgiveness, but we've lost our
Yeah.
mojo, our speed
Yeah.
mojo. So like, let's and TaylorMade and
Let's hit it
Callaway did
fucking
that, I think
fast.
specifically.
Yeah.
Let's just make it really fast. And
Yeah.
both of the big dogs in the speed category, which has always been Callaway and TaylorMade, an argument can be made for Titleist now, are doing that. And it's going to be interesting to see now where Ping sits, knowing that we have these two absolute silverback gorillas coming onto the market. And Cobra, I can even throw their drivers fast as hell too. But like, it's going to be interesting to see the reaction. Like, who's going to react to who. Anyway, okay. Do you talk about Callaway now? Because you had a great day there. Um, so tell me a little bit about
Yeah.
your experience there.
Yeah. I mean, with Callaway, it's almost a parallel of the same story. Like I feel, and honestly, I'll throw Cobra in this too, where I feel like the way you just described it was perfect. I think everybody was trying to be everybody for a couple of years there because what their core was might have been tapped out, and they forced the company to change directions and try to tackle another problem, but then they started losing the ethos of like who they are in the first place, right? Like Callaway has been, ball speed machine, right? And I think the other thing is over the years, Callaway has done the best job, and I would say even over Ping. I think Callaway has done the best job of always making their lineup different tools. Like there has not ever been a lot of gray area with Callaway. There's been a couple,
No,
I would say, unicorn pieces that became oddly good for certain things out of nowhere, like Rogue ST Max
UW.
D ended up, yeah, like Rogue ST Max D ended up being a low spin friggin' bomber for guys that like to hit big cuts, right? Like great stuff.
I love
So
that. That was a great driver. Yeah.
yeah, like you get those weird little oddities in there, but now everybody's just kind of like, you know what? Let's pick something and let's just do that the best. And
Right.
it's refreshing because everybody's driver at this point across the board, like everybody's is really forgiving. Everybody's is pushing the limits of what that company can achieve for speed. Everybody is sounds good and feels good. Like there's a little bit of personal preference still built in, but we're going to be back to the days where like fitting bays are going to be a fight. And that is good for everybody. To have fitting bays not just be like, okay, everybody's going to try a ping and then we're going to let you try one other thing, but everybody's going to try
Right.
a ping, right? That's kind of how it's been. And no discredit to Ping. Obviously, they have a full now year to get back to whatever they're going to come out with next, and that's always fun. But like, it'll be cool to see what the story is in fitting bays because you and I have talked about this. I think that's the real club test or decision maker or stats or data that people should look at is like what is winning in fitting bays for the average consumer, right? Like
Yeah.
the tour results and the tour data is one thing, but go down the street and ask your local fitter, like, hey, if you had to break up your percentage of sales between the five big driver companies, what's that look like for you? Right. And ask them because I guarantee you that answer is probably different than you think it is. Like if we talk to
Right.
LaRoche and we ask him what he sells, it's very different than what the market thinks is the most popular thing. And so it's cool. And I'm happy to see it. I think Callaway again, like not to just mirror what I said about TaylorMade, but Callaway is back to being Callaway, and that is
Yeah.
it's refreshing. Like this is the first this launch reminds me of Epic Speed. Like Epic Speed
Yes. That was a
was
great
something,
driver.
right?
Yeah.
Like I
That was a
have
great driver.
yeah, I have one right there, and there's another one over there, and then there's a fairway wood over there too. But like that was so good. And then, AI Smart Face was a really good introduction for them, but it was never the ethos of Callaway. It made the forgiving and the Max driver like so much better and really, really good. Um, but we know that when it comes to the internet marketplace and um, the people that follow us for the most part and stuff like that, like everybody wants the LS versus Triple Diamond versus LST versus GT3 battle, right? Like
Right.
that's what people want to know, and they're going to give it to them this year. Like and I'm
It's
including
gonna
Cobra
be
in that. Like you saw my
yeah.
ball speed
It's
at Cobra. We had
yeah.
we had
It's
some
it's
fun.
it's it's and for our function and for the the people in the forums and the big gearheads, like it's driver warrior. Like this next year is driver wars. I mean,
Yeah, it's
that's
awesome.
and for the golf business, you don't want one company that has like the big driver and everybody else is kind of here.
Yeah,
You want the big companies fighting and fighting and fighting. And this is the first year that I think everybody truly has an on-brand product
yeah,
that's very specific to that company. And
yeah.
it
Nobody's
doesn't
trying to be anybody else.
nobody's trying, not this year, no. And it's been cool to kind of see
No.
how they've tried to be somebody else. Like I know GT3. If I'm going to speak for Titleist, GT3's been the North Star on tour. Every tour truck is trying to figure out what it is about that driver that works so well. It's I wrote a social media post on this thing, a couple weeks ago, and it's like, it's got the perfect amount of face progression, and it's very neutral, and the CG's in a good spot, and the weighting goes across the face, sort of the way the head's constructed. There's just something about that driver that really works, and it's a really, really hard one for fitters to beat. And I'm not talking about speed; I'm just talking about efficiency.
Yeah, and
So
it's funny because how now that I'm thinking about this, how many times last week did we hear the word shape?
yeah,
Right? That's
hmm
actually a yeah, that's actually a big deal next year for across the board. Like shape in many ways, I'm not going to go further than that, but shape in many ways is a big part of the storylines next year, and I'm excited about that cuz I mean the
and
pictures are out there of most of the stuff, but it's good.
it's aesthetic shape, not aerodynamic shape. Like there's not like, well, this shape's going to make you swing it faster. There's none of that stuff. It's like, this is the
No,
shape
no,
that
no,
people
no.
want to look at. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, let's go into Cobra really quick, because
Yeah.
you have a great relationship with them, so
I
you're
love those guys. Yeah.
well versed in their product.
Yeah.
The other nice thing for me is I'm coming back to all this stuff, as we go.
Yeah.
um we're talking about, you're talking, like, Carbon Face, for example, kind of launched. Sim 2 was TaylorMade's first driver when I was started with Callaway, and then they went into the Carbon Face after that. So like it was, but it was out of sight, out of mind. I didn't. We talked about it, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It's been interesting to see Cobra's progression, because you and I pull hard for Cobra, and the reason why we do is because they always have really, really cool ideas, and they actually execute on their ideas, but they lose the marketing war. They really do. They just, it's I don't know what the analogy would be, but they tend to try to, how do you say this, Jake? It's almost like, you have a
It's a key.
you have
It's a
do you know
Kia.
who they are? Or that, it's like the Blue Jays. It's like Blue Jays baseball. They play efficient golf design. They make good products and this and that, but they just don't have, sometimes they just don't have that all-star, or that big, that big budget player that's going to get them over the edge. And
Yep.
what we experienced at Encinitas Ranch, I can't think of a product there that I didn't like. I mean, Luke Epp, for example, emailed me and said, "Hey, what do you want to hit, or what do you want to test?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I was
wait. I'm
curious
gonna
to see
wait
what
till
you were going to
after.
respond with. Yeah.
I just emailed him and said, I don't do, like, honestly, there's like 6 things that I want, but I want to do it at club test. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
you're
I,
going to do
I
your
have
fit.
like I
Yeah.
don't. I want to walk away from, at the end of this year with 14 clubs. But there was like a set of irons, a driver, a 3 wood, and like a hybrid that I'm like, I could right now, I could stick every single one of these in my bags and be totally happy.
Yeah, like look, I understand the TaylorMade fairway wood hype, but I swear if you don't get that Cobra fairway that we are both talking about, if you don't get
Hmm.
one of those and give it a fair shot, I will be like extremely upset. I think your bag will have lost Warrior if you don't give that guy a shot. Um,
I know, and
it's crazy.
it's crazy, and I am like, I'll be super honest, like Callaway fairway woods for me, I had a couple that were like great, but I never
Yeah,
had that like I can be my worst and still hit bangers with this thing. And TaylorMade fairway woods and this Cobra one that we hit that day, it was like this thing is so
yeah,
easy to hit and it looks so good
insane.
that
Yeah,
it's insane. Okay, let's move on to Titleist because it was a different day at Titleist. They're all great days, but we
yeah,
weren't really testing drivers and stuff that day. But um,
no.
they got, I don't know. See, I don't know how much we can talk about their stuff though. We can say that it's not. I don't want to spoil it, but there's
I mean, I would just say that based on Titleist's normal release cycle, the product that you assume is coming is coming.
is coming and
Yeah. And
it's great.
it also has a again, like everybody's killing it this year cuz that was the one that I'm not going to lie to you, dude. We were walking into there and I was like, I love that I get to go to TPI, but like this stuff's not going to blow me away, you know? Like it's just a new iteration of blank and it's like, all
Right.
right, like cool. Like I'm happy for it. I'm excited about it. But I walked out of there with a very different mindset.
Well, do you know
I
what? Do
walked
you know what?
I walked out of there
Go ahead.
giddy. Like that was yeah, I walked out of there
Do
giddy. It was cool.
you know what they do, Jake? And I have to insert this in here. And this is where the Titleist fitting thing is so powerful.
Yeah.
They make it, and it's unique to them. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry to all my other OEM friends. Like, it's just unique to Titleist. They put some expert
It
on
really
you
is. Yeah.
that like a Lucas or like I'm not going to say who I worked with because it's going to give it away. But like
Yeah. I had
the
Brandon.
yeah, they just they put this person in front of you, and the guy's just going whack 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 whack, and all
Yep.
of a sudden you're like, I know 9 times more than I did when I walked in here. Like, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually feel like an idiot. Like, this is
Dude,
pretty cool.
so okay, so the one thing I will say about Titleist, because it doesn't give anything away about what we tested, but so during Titleist, for some reason, like even when I did my fit with Lucas, I get I get like nervous. So whenever I do fits with people that are real fitters, I get nervous because I'm like, all right, I just don't want to give feedback where this guy thinks I'm just like full of shit, right? Like
Right.
because I at this point with the amount of stuff I've tested and like how I go through my own gear, like I get very very nitpicky about little tiny things that might not matter to anybody else.
Right.
But they matter to me and I feel them or I hear them or I see them and it matters a lot to me. So with my fitter at Titleist, there was several times, and I hope we get a cut of every time I asked him the question, because I just kept looking at him. Like I would say something, and I'd be like, "Does that sound like I'm a fucking idiot?" And he would be like, "No, actually, the difference between A and B is exactly what you said it was." He's like, "Not a lot of people
Right.
pick up on that." So I walked out of there, whether he was telling me the truth or not. That man made me feel like a genius. I will say that.
Right.
Like he made me walk out of there thinking that like I really do know my clubs. I know my game really well. I know the things that I need to adjust or do better in my game to make certain things work. Um, and then he was just like, "Yeah, here's a tool to make that happen. Have a nice day." And it was just like, "Oh, okay, thanks, bye." Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
great, you know?
yeah. I see. I can relate to that so much, but like, and our approach to equipment is a little different, right? So like, I'm a tour. I follow the tour, meaning like I like to see what the tour guys are hitting, and I want to figure out what that is, and I have ideas, right? I get ideas, and
Yeah,
I show up to this thing, and I got what I have in my bag, and my fitters ask me like, so well, how did you land on this thing there, Sonny boy? And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, it's something I've been staring at for 3 years, and I just really wanted
Wait,
one. And he's like, oh, it's terrible for you, so way to go.
wait, hold on. Can I gotta say something real quick because it's on what you're saying. So I'm not gonna say who because you can think of it, but so we walk in there and you bring your bag in with what was in your bag and stuff, and uh, right away somebody from Titleist goes, "That's not what we sent him."
That was
And I was just dying because I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna go do this stuff later, and they're gonna be like, so Johnny, we told you to do this, and you did this. Want to
well,
talk to us about
that
that?
was so Lucas walks up to me. I think it was Lucas. I'm pretty sure it was Lucas. And he goes, "Hey, dude, where did this wedge come from? And
Yeah,
like, how did you
yeah,
you've been doing some stuff." I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, I just had some things I wanted to test, and
yeah,
and it's here's the truth. Here's the truth is like, that's why, like, when I talk about the guys in the forums and stuff like that, we're gonna get to them here shortly. But like,
yeah, because they love us.
because they love us. But I love that thing that it's kind of like we're all kids in there. We want the same bath that Otani has, and I know it's
Yeah,
too big and too heavy. I just want it,
yeah,
and the nice thing is, I get to the point where it's taken me, a long time to be like, I just want to play good. Like, I'm a victim of my own idiocy. Like, and I get there, and even to the point like where I had a 60-degree wedge. And he's like, why do
yeah,
you've always been a 58 guy. How come you're a
yeah.
60 now? And I'm like, well, I saw Tommy Fleetwood, and I was doing this, and I saw some, and I'm just like, oh, dude, like and I'm supposed to be on here telling people how to do this, and I can't even do it for myself. It's
Yeah,
like, my self credibility is just like fucking gone. And, but we're
I,
at the end of the day, we're all
yeah,
degenerate golfers, and we're trying to figure this thing out. But anyway, like, all in all, like, I'm going to ask
yeah.
you the tough question here, and I want to, because this is kind of what people want to know if we're going to give them the nitty gritty. So obviously, the experience
Oh,
across the board was, A+. It was amazing. It's a blessing.
yeah, wonderful.
There's not a superlative that I could add to it to make it any more awesome. But I got to ask a tough question. Where were your disappointments?
Oh, um,
And you don't have to be company specific. You can just say there was one driver I was kind of hoping was a little bit more this.
I was hoping that we were gonna see some fun hybrids because I think that the world that we live in with high lofted fairways and hybrid options and all this stuff and more people accepting more hybrids and like I was really hoping for some banger hybrid options. Um, one of the companies gave us a really cool one, but I would
Mm-hmm.
argue that two of the others maybe
Not
like
great.
all like it feels like they just did it because they had to put the name on it, right? Like that's kind of what it felt
Right.
like.
It's on the
Um,
website. Yeah. Like, you gotta
yeah,
you gotta
right. Like
throw
it's
it in there.
available. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
for sale.
Yeah. We got
Uh,
them. Yeah.
yeah. So that was one disappointment. Um, and then I think there was there was one like two of the companies had a here's how I'll put it. One company had a very robust fitting strategy. Uh, well, two companies had a very robust fitting strategy. One company didn't seem like they had a fitting strategy, and then the other one was
Right.
just a really good normal fitting. Like
Right.
it was an exceptional normal fitting, but there was nothing really unique about the process. And I really did appreciate the one fitting story that's going to become a big deal next year. That was really really cool. Um, it's extra cool to a guy like me who cares a lot about a certain part of the golf bag. Um, so that was really cool, but again, it was cool for one, but really disappointing for another.
Right.
Um, and then I mean, just in general, disappointment. Um, it's just we're on an off year for iron releases. So
Yeah.
there's just nothing really fun in that category except for one company, and the excitement of that one company doing what they're doing might actually be worth all of the iron excitement for the year anyhow. So I'm kind of
Right.
down with that. It's pretty dope. So yeah, I think that was it though. Like the hybrid category, I was really hoping to have some bangers this year, just because I think the game is lending itself towards more acceptance of more hybrids.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a
but
category that somebody could
yeah,
come in and own. Somebody could come in and own pretty quickly.
yeah.
That's
Well, and
not
that's
Ping, because
another
Ping
one
kind of
where
owns it
like you
now.
just yeah, I was to say that's another one you just look at Ping and you're like, oh yeah, yep, like those ones. Okay, cool. Like
Yeah,
sweet, you want a hybrid? Pick a Ping.
they're the tailor-made furry woods of the hybrid category. They're just
Yeah, 100%.
they work
But
really
the
well.
but the one hybrid that we both liked could be something.
Superman. Yeah, I mean I share your sentiment on the hybrid part. One part doesn't claim to be a hybrid company. The other one took the time to
Yeah,
redesign a hybrid, and it was like I didn't understand it. I
me
just was
neither.
like, what
Yeah,
the like what's going on here? Um, so that was one. Again, to your fitting experience thing, I do say there was one company that could have really stepped up and done a really rebooted their fitting strategy, and they just didn't. Because that would have been a fun thing to go along with what they have coming out, where they could have stepped up and be like, hey, we got a whole new, we're reacting to the consumer now, like we're going to give you a plus experience. That would have been cool. I was a little disappointed in that. um, and there was, as far as like the drivers like that we hit, there wasn't any that I was like disappointed in. There was a few that I just didn't. They didn't. They were just like, okay, like that's cool. You have it in the line. You need it, and it's
yeah,
it didn't really blow
yeah,
my hair back. I was very impressed with the hero drivers of each category. So I was very
yeah,
impressed with like the core models that they're coming out with, because I think and I hope this is right. And I used to say this at Callaway, and again, we're going to go back to the forums. This is one of the reasons they hate me so much, because I couldn't tell them the TCBs were going to be released, because I had I was trying to feed my family. We'll get to that, but
yeah,
like I really hope, and I believe it's true for TaylorMade, that there won't be a tour specific head. I think this core head that they have will satisfy
yeah.
tour.
I don't think there'll be
I
a
really
dot.
do,
Yeah,
because it's already a tour head. It's a
yeah,
shape that the tour guys have been hitting for a while. Um,
yeah,
Callaway is a wild animal. I don't know what'll happen there, but their speed story is
yeah.
is
Well, and they
lends
have
itself to that.
yeah, and they have a core B driver.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? Is that fair to say? Right.
yeah,
Um, so that's cool. People would be very happy about that.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Keep going. Sorry. Cobra.
Um, Cobra has two heads that I was very impressed with. One of the heads not even in my, I would never hit it, so I didn't really care.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the other one that they have that I'm actually so happy that my mindset isn't I'm automatically going to this type of driver anymore, because that was always my first instinct. Like, I want this. I want to, I want, and now it's like I get really into their core heads. Like, what is there a gamer here? Because Jake, you and I are the same way. We have the same goals. Like, we're looking at March. Like, we're looking at Battle of the Beach. Like, that's, I have Battle of the
Yeah.
Beach and my old man's member guest, and everything is centered around going and trying to win those two tournaments.
Yep.
And where I got, and I'll move past the disappointment part, but where I got really excited is like, I kind of know what I need now, and I have a lot of leeway into
Mm,
to those tournaments this year. Like, I'm gonna have a bag that I'll have
yeah.
lived in for a little while. And I'm really excited about some of these player
Yeah.
performance irons, like the PXG irons that we saw. Obviously, Cobra 3D irons are really compelling. Like, I'm looking at 770s, I'm looking at T250s, like I'm looking at all that stuff,
Yeah.
because there's so much stuff out there that could appeal to a good player that still gives me the help that I need at this point in my life.
Yeah.
So, all in all, dude, it was like, and I'll end it with this. You knocked it out of the park. I think we both did, but specifically, like I was, as your first go doing this,
We killed it together.
like it was so much fun to watch you, dude. Like you got so much passion for it, and um, yeah, it was just fun. That was the biggest, my biggest win of the week was watching you do your thing. Like that to me, it's like this biggest takeaway was like I hired this guy because I thought he could get in there and do it, and he did it. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew that he was that guy. So,
Well,
very, very excited.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
Well, you're great at it. Yeah, you're
no,
fantastic.
it's a fun week, man, and it's again still super fortunate that that's what we get to do for work, right? Like, had a bunch of people ask me, they're like, "Yeah, how was your trip and stuff?" And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna sleep for 2 days, and I don't know if my hands can grip anything, but
Yeah,
who am I to complain that I'm tired and my hands hurt because I got paid to hit golf balls for 4 days? That's
that's
wild.
awesome.
So yeah, I
Okay,
appreciate
so
it.
we're gonna pivot. We got about 13 minutes, 10, 15 minutes left. We're gonna get dark here for a second, and I'm gonna use it.
We
I'm
don't
gonna
have to
use
get
this.
dark.
I'm gonna use this as the segue. So the Internet Invitational, which I don't
Oh,
know
okay.
how anybody.
That's perfect segue, actually. Yeah.
I don't know how anybody expected anything different, but it's a reality television show essentially. Like that was
Yeah.
always, so you started off with the Luke Kwan stuff, and then you go to the Melosi stuff, but the amount of hate, and I know, like I know both of those kids. I know them
Yeah.
both, and they're both really good dudes. And like some of the DMs that these guys are getting. I mean, people were DMing Melosi's parents or
Their
his
family.
mom.
Yeah.
Their I
Yeah.
mean, it was like, and I ended up I started texting back with back and forth with Melosi, and I'm like, bro, this is toxic. Like nobody's curing cancer here. Nobody's dying. Nobody's saving any lives. This is golf. Like it's golf content. But like some of the, so like I'm going to segue into this. Like you and I, and it's part of the job. So this isn't me going, oh god, I
Yeah.
don't like when people say bad stuff about me. Like I don't like I really don't I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm more or less saying it to this. Like, I was going through, and I don't go into the WRX forums very often, but sometimes I go in there because I enjoy it. Like I like going in there. I think it's like the amount of passion and information, and it's fun, dude. Like it's a great forum.
Yeah.
But it gets toxic. Like they have no
Yeah.
problem.
They're still assholes. Yeah.
Like the character assassinations are just unbelievable,
It's
and I dealt
crazy.
with it.
Yeah.
I dealt with it like, and I want to, because I'm gonna let you cook here in a second, but like I'm going through this thread, and it was like a Callaway thread,
Yeah.
and it
They
was
were talking about
like,
our podcast clip with Johnny. Yeah.
yeah, they were talking about our podcast clip and how like I'm a pompous ass, and I assume to be best friends with all these players, and like,
Yeah.
um, some guy made the comment like, yeah, because him and Steph Curry are best friends, and I sat there and I'm like, I have never, like when I say somebody's like my brother, it's because I've spent 4 years with these guys for 35 weeks. Like, I worked in a big,
Yeah.
big league clubhouse. It's like you and I, Jake. It's like you and I traveling. You're with these people as much as you're with your own family. Like you're with them a
Yeah.
lot. Like you have tight
Arguably more.
relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have tight relationships with these people. It's not like you're beyond work colleagues. Like what's going on with these guys. And I'm sitting there reading this stuff, and I'm like, okay, like, can I come across as an asshole? Sure. Like, ask my
Yeah.
girl, 100%. I can be condescending. I can be all the human things without question. And sometimes I do it, and I love that about myself because I've gotten a lot of mileage out of being that way in certain situations. But like, I'm reading these comments,
I'm
and I'm
reading it
just
right now
like,
again.
yeah, and I'm just like, what? Like,
Yeah.
how do you, and I've never understood this. How do you sit in front of your computer to a person that you don't know, right? And just go, this, the
Yeah.
arrogance, and I just can't hear him, and he just fucking does this, and I hear it. And it's like, this is a golf club forum. We're all nerds. Like, what is
Yeah.
happening
Yeah.
here?
I typed made for the range and I typed Jake at one point, and I was doing okay. Uh but then people started getting mad at me over the lefty thing. That was the issue. Uh this guy, like there's one guy on here that just like his entire comment is Jake is horrible. Dot dot dot. Uh,
Oh, dude, I've gotten,
like
yeah.
that's just it. Like that's the whole comment. I'm like, all right. Some guy on YouTube. So there's one guy on, and he follows me on Instagram too. He follows YouTube, but like, I swear it is his life's mission to wake up and find a club post and comment that they don't have it for left-handers. Like that is like
Right.
I can't make a video without him being like, well, I mean, they wouldn't have put it out without left-handers. And I'm like, and I messaged him and like I talked to him. I was like, dude, calm down. Like
Well,
I don't
yeah, it's like they want to litigate everything. It's like, what are we doing
yeah.
here?
And then so like I got to the point with this guy where like I just kind of started making jokes, right? Like I, on our podcast from last week or the last time we did the podcast, I went on and I was like, well, like if you spent as much time dedicated to complaining about lefty equipment as you did to golf, you could probably get on the PJ Tour and they'll give you whatever you want. And he commented back and he's like, well, I'll never be on the PJ Tour and you'll never not be fat. And I'm like, bro, like you and like I DM this guy on Instagram constantly because he asks me questions all the time and I answer it. So I literally messaged him and I was like, hey man, like, can you not call me short? Like say I'm a midget. That's fine. I was like, but like he's off on the fat jokes, bud. And he's like, well, I thought we were just like joking around. I'm like, no, you like went after me and then you threw something in the forums because I complained that lefties complain, basically. Uh, yeah, pretty much. By the way, all the comments on here, everybody's like, yeah, Jake would be fine without Johnny. You know.
Let's say that's probably like I heard there was one that's like there was this thread in there that said like this is why Callaway let him go, and I'm like,
Yeah, let him go. I just saw that one. I was like, wait, that's not what
yeah,
happened.
I was like that's not even fucking remotely
Yeah,
close to what happened. Like, but
yeah,
it's again it's the presumption that people know what's going on, and that's where the forums get a little funny. It's like they assume. And trust me, dude, I'm as guilty. Like when during in politics, like during the presidential race, I was doing the same thing. Creators, I'd be like, oh, he doesn't know. I understand the instinct. I just don't understand how people get in
yeah.
their
Of
computer and
course.
start typing this stuff out. Like, what are
Yeah.
we doing here?
I also
Um,
the other crazy thing to me is like around this time of the year, the amount of people like local reps or pros at clubs or whatever that like leak information with their name on it. I'm like, are you trying to get your contract canceled? Like
yeah,
these
it's
these
so dumb.
OEMs don't care about you as much as they think they do, bud. Like you want to
No,
start posting photos or reposting stuff or ripping stuff off or like just going in a forum and literally yelling out the entire like tech strategy for these drivers. I was like, you're gonna get your privileges revoked so quickly. I did you see the video that I put on the thoughts for the Rage channel? The one where I just yell at my phone,
no.
and I was walking with Adam after Cobra, and I told Adam, I'm like, dude, like people just keep asking, like they think I'm gonna tell them all this information. I was like, but I like my job, and Adam was like, yeah, you should just like post that up, and I was like, okay, should I do it on the rant, like the I call it my Jake's Tez channel, and he's like, yeah, do it. So I get on my phone and I'm just doing selfie mode. I'm like, hey guys, like we're done with we're testing out here, Cobra. A lot of you guys are DMing me. You want to know like what I liked, kind of what we hit, what we felt like, and I was like, I ain't telling you shit. Like, I like my job. I don't want to lose my job. So respectfully, I'm not telling you anything. Like, are we like when everybody says like, do you know anything about this, and we say no, we might be lying, but like you'll find out when you need to find out, and I'll keep my job, and that's great for everybody.
I guess I'll say it like
Yeah,
this:
yeah,
it gets to the point where if you don't tell them what they want to know right when they want to know it, it's some grand conspiracy that the company's trying to rake. They're just trying to rake us for money again, and it's just another
yeah,
thing. And you got these
yeah,
tour guys hitting these hot heads, and do you know how many times I had to fight off people in the forums about the tour heads because they were so convinced that they had like unicorn piss on them, and they were like 50-mile-an-hour faster than normal drivers. And I'm like, do you have any idea how this works? Like the driver faces on a Callaway tour head is thick and heavy. It starts off like 5 miles an hour slow. And like, yeah, but once it gets worked in, it's like, no, dude, it's not. It doesn't work like that. It's
yeah. That's not
like
how it
the
happened.
retail
Yeah,
heads are hot. Do you know why all the tour players wanted whenever we would do early testing with a tour player, like at a content shoot, and they got their hands, those were all retail heads. Do you know why they all love them after the content shoot? Because ball
it's a
go real far.
fast. Yeah,
Ball go real far.
Yeah.
But that's not the heads that they get.
Yeah.
When they get them sent to the house, they're gonna be like, it's not gonna be that fast when you
the
get your head. It's gonna be like 3 miles an hour slower.
Yeah, the one guy that was arguing with you in the comments of that video, and you're like, "Hey, dude, like, I forgot what comment you said because like I didn't say anything in that clip. I like laughed a
Right.
couple times and like said like ah yeah or like yeah like nodded my head, but like the one guy was like, well, he didn't say anything of value or he doesn't know what he's talking about. And you were like, the guy that used to work at Callaway or the guy that currently works at Callaway or the guy that didn't say anything in the clip. And I was like, yep, there you go. Like, it's just people are I mean that's on par with the guy that told me I should have tested the grip differences in a robot. Right? Like it's just sometimes they comment before they watch the video, I think, just because they have some angst and they want to get it
Right.
out. But yeah, like to bring it back to the Internet Invitational thing, that's disturbing. Like,
It's disturbing.
and
This is not what we're talking about. Is not disturbing. Keep going. But
no,
this
this
is
is
like
like,
this
look,
is
like
just like like
yeah,
it's
like I would get
whatever.
it. Like you and I could get a beer with Quigley DU on the WRX forums,
Yeah,
and we could
he
sort
hates
some
me.
stuff out, right? Like we could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
friends after a beer, but like I don't like what happened to Paige, what happened to Melosi, what happened to Luke. Like that's not
Brutal. No.
that's not normal human behavior, and all of that is because people get to hide behind screens. They don't understand how hard those people work. They think that Paige is just given everything in her life, and that she doesn't work hard for anything, or that she didn't do a lot of things to take a million different steps and a million different failures to get to where she got, and like all the stuff that Paige has accomplished. Same thing with Luke. Like Luke's been through the freaking ringer with some of his stuff, and like Melosi,
100%.
like Melosi came up, he got his opportunity with Good, and like he's so nice, and he's just tried to like keep his head down and just be Melosi. He doesn't
Yeah.
really do this. He doesn't really do this. He just kind of stays right here. But now he's fighting for his freaking life because people are threatening his mom. Like,
Right.
what are we doing? It just doesn't. It's disappointing to see human
I think
behavior evolve
I
like
think a
that.
lot I think a lot of that though, if I'm being super honest, is the Barstool, and I like Barstool. So I'm not saying this is like a jab at Barstool, but
Yeah, it's a
that
crowd. Yeah,
that environment is that's that
yeah,
environment. Like, and if you mesh golf and that kind of a platform with these creators from YouTube into the Barstool universe, like, that's
yeah,
what happens. Like, that's that crowd. They get super passionate, and it's like, it's like a Yankees Red Sox game. It's like, you did this, and I want your whole
yeah,
legacy to
yeah,
be tarnished. And
yeah.
but at the end
Burn.
of the day,
Yeah,
and we're gonna end it here. But I will say this to all of my friends and Jake's friends, people that don't like us in the forums for whatever, for God knows what reason.
yeah. Well,
All
I'm
brother,
fat, so
all brothers to me. Because at the end of the day, I guarantee, and Jake said this perfectly, if we were all sitting in the same room at the
yeah,
same bar, and all of a sudden we started talking golf,
yeah. We'd be friends very quickly.
we'd be friends so fast because we share the same passion. And I guarantee, if Jake and I weren't in these jobs where we had the access, that we worked hard for these jobs, like we got here for a
Yeah,
reason. It's not because because
yeah,
I'm so smart.
yeah,
The same things that you would write in the forums and questions that you would have of clubs and
yeah,
why I was asking the same questions in 2011, 2012 when I
yeah.
was just a
Oh yeah,
forum guy. So I get it. So my whole thing of getting into these jobs and getting into the Callaway thing and this and that is like, hey guys, like, I'm going to show you how this all works. Now that I'm
yeah,
here, you have a forum member now
yeah.
with full send access, and now Jake's the same
As
thing.
much as you legally can. Yeah,
As much as I can without jeopardizing my livelihood, but I'm trying to
yeah,
give you every little nugget that I know. And
yeah,
with the players that I have access to and the people that Jake has access to and all that stuff, like, we're just trying to, like, this is what I wanted to know. I'm going to show you as much as I can without getting fired. And so if you understand that part, you'll understand why we do what we do and how we do what we do it. And yes, I like to talk, and yes, I talk over people, and Jake and I jab at each other, and he's like my son. I love this kid to death.
yeah.
Um,
Sometimes,
but
sometimes we go too far.
sometimes we go too far, but that's
Yeah,
what's going to make this fun.
yeah,
But I love you all. From the bottom of my heart, forum
yeah,
people, I love you all because you're all brothers, and I hope I get to see you at the airport someday, and I will not run away from you. I'll give you a big hug and go, hey brother, like, what's in your bag?
yeah,
What do you got?
yeah.
What are you excited
That's the
about?
right.
That's what I
Right
want to
there.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's start there.
I love it.
So next week we have a shaft company coming on. Shaft, kind of a newer shaft company.
Yep.
Uh, the new shaft. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's it's a cool story. And then you and I go off
Yep.
back to Carlsbad for another. The next one's gonna be wild. But
Yeah,
we
I'm
will be
still trying
sharing.
to prepare,
That's
get
ambitious.
mentally ready. Yeah.
But that will be fun. Hope you guys enjoy that. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can go to Jake. Find Jake at Made for the Range on Instagram. I'm at Johnny_Wunder, and then of course you can find us on Fully Equipped. But that is episode 311. Happy gear heading to all of you, Jake. God bless you, son. You're just an absolute unicorn. And
Thanks.
that's a wrap. That's a wrap from Chicago and Toronto. Did you know, really quick, did you know that people in Toronto, they don't say
Chicago.
Toronto, they say they lose the T. It's Toronto. I've been saying it right the whole time.
Toronto?
Toronto. And they don't say Toronto, they say Toronto.
I think that's a
Yeah.
bread company.
No, you can't be on the podcast, son, because there's weird people out there that just never know. We're gonna cut
Yeah.
you. We're gonna cut you every frame that you're in. You're gonna get cut out of this thing. It's not what we do. God bless everybody. Have a great rest of the week,
All right.
and we will see you next week. Adios.
Here, I'll do it. Oh, I didn't beat you
I
to it.
love
Dang
it.
it. Ah.